Solary may need to win the entire tournament on their way to the major, but where does it start if not but with a single step? And they are going to be taking on the Goliath of Karmine Corp. I'm Stumpy, joined by Cole. The final series of the day is going to be a real biblical matchup.
It may well be. Hopefully this will be a close one, because the way Karmine Corp are playing at the moment, Stumpy, they are sweeping, they are stomping, and they are destroying every single team in their path. In an EU region that's been pretty up and down, Karmine Corp have been one of the only consistent so far.
Yeah, I mean, you look to a lot of the players to peak at various points when you look at seasons past, and then maybe they'll have a couple of off regionals, whatever it ends up being. But then when you add in the unbelievably consistent factor of Vitira, it has changed that team up in its entirety, and they have recently just secured that #1 seed in Europe as well, going into that major. So another team sitting at the top of that European throne.
It has to be said, though, what a story that Solary is. They've come together, three players that seemed pretty much past it, especially in the case of K-Dop and Fairy Peak. Fairy Peak, who was dropped first by Vitality, K-Dop, who soon followed a few months later.
Invoking the wrath of so many French fans right now.
Well, maybe, because I was going to say, Chaussette wasn't washed up. You know, he made it to Worlds, he performed admirably for Semper, but the three of them coming together, no one was thinking, wow, apart from Shogun, apparently, this is a team that could make lands. And you, sorry, I forgot. A weird prediction was made, and I thought for a second that maybe you weren't involved. The point I'm making is they've done pretty well, all things considered.
They really have, and like, you know, when we're saying that they've got no real chance against KC, there's not many teams that we'd say would have that big chance against them, but you know how some teams perform when it comes down to going on the line. When they are cornered, we've not seen what Solary are like when they're cornered, and we've seen some teams go to a level that they do not achieve again, where they finally have their backs pushed. And you look back to Fairy Peak, you look back to K-Dop in fall during last season, and their bring back to the major was something that nobody really thought was going to happen. They started off atrociously on Vitality, and then they still managed to make it. It was an incredible story. This is certainly, you know, something that they're going to be thinking, look, we can do it again. This is our region. We've been kings of it before. Why not do it again? Vitira, though, faking out one, manages to get a 50 with K-Dop, but that speed sends him forward.
Not too much has happened in the opening couple of minutes of this series. Both teams just doing the classic game one, feeling each other out, getting some nice booming touches to get out any nerves, any stiffness in the fingers. When they warm up, we know what KC in particular are capable of, and it's the man you mentioned earlier, Vitira.
Yeah.
He was on the ball, and he was the one who started this attack. Eventually it falls to Fairy Peak, who does some decent defensive work to get it over the top of Exotic.
I mean, Vitira right now, he is the best performing player in the tournament. He's at the top. His Octane rating is over 1.3. He's the only player as well who is assisting over 1 per game, and he's at 1.33 for that. Having a shot himself there, can't help but try and go for the assist. It's actually not on the end of that one. Potentially should have scored. Vitira looking at that as his the biggest opportunity that he's had so far, despite that a few shots going the way for KC. I think we've seen, you know, a lot of that goal participation for Vitira, where he feels comfortable. He knows that he doesn't need to be the man at the front doing everything offensively when he can pass it off to an equally as capable teammate.
Here he goes, he's up in the air now, he's
great
too much of the ball as far as Solary are concerned, and maybe it will lead to their first goal. You can see how quickly KC can turn not very much
there it is.
into just a sustained period of attack. They make it look easy when the ball eventually falls for him.
I've described many a team in my past as a conveyor belt of shark's teeth, but it really feels like KC are becoming that kind of team where every time that they were rotating back out, they didn't go past around a third or so from that orange part of the pitch. They were going back, collecting those pads, not bothering to go for the big boost because they don't need to. They can wear them down. They win that war of attrition, and they get a goal at the end.
Karmine Corp are a team that I really hope they don't let their foot off the gas, just because they've already made this major. They've already guaranteed #1 seed in EU, because there's, in my opinion, a little bit of cross-regional competition right now. We've seen Gen G, who finished second, then first. And people are talking about a flawless regional split, and it has been for them, as Exotic has to make a save. KC can do better than that. If they win this right now, they go second, first, this tournament this is. They go second, then first, which would be a huge achievement for them and really guarantee themselves as the #1 seed, you know, in our minds, in the power rankings, when we get to Rotterdam.
On 1 minute 15 left now, and Solary have been shy of chance with just 3 shots for them. But every single player on KC having 3 shots individually. So a lot more offense coming the way of the blue wall. Pinch attempt from Vatira with 0 booster. He has to try and fit it with the K-Dot. The double commit from Itachi and Exotic leaves it for a pass. Very big in the center. Short set receives, but it was just a touch behind him, so no power pushing the ball forwards towards the net. A great pass central from Short set. Drops it towards Fairy Peak. K-Dot going for a very nice active play on that. It goes long. Exotic can't touch it down. Itachi there to finish. Short set to save away.
Lovely touch there from Fairy Peak, and it will allow Solary to just bring the ball forward with some control from K-Dop. It wasn't quite ideal, the flick that he was after, but it just about gets them out of their danger zone.
Good
read from huge dunk on K-Dop. Yeah, you have to say K-Dop should have done a bit better with that clearance, but it was good work from Exotic.
Well, Exotic he went for the ball up high, knew that K-Dop had to challenge it, and so then didn't bother going for the boost, then get the erratic 50. Knows he can just keep it close by hovering a little bit further away. Shuts down that passing angle, and Exotic again passing in the center. Yeah, nice play, just good game management. A 1-0 so far. However, the complete amount of pressure has been on the side. Ooh. Karmine Corp. Sure said they're going for a wondrous double. Isn't able to get that one past any of the defenders. Exotic to send long. No one in the back corner. It's going to bounce on the floor. Karmine Corp. Predictably, game number 1.
Predictably clean as well from Karmine Corp. Never seemed stretched, never seemed to panic, never seemed worried about what the Solary roster were about to offer them, because for all the good work they've done as a team in this split so far, they don't quite have that incisiveness that you have to break down a defense that's as good as Karmine Corp. Of course, Vatira is normally at the heart of it, but Itachi and Exotic do so much work off the ball. You can see it here. They are probably the best team we have at the moment, and that's before you talk about their mechanics.
I mean, this is such a strange time to be a European fan as well, because this is the first time that we're going to be going into the Champ Sunday in EU or NA where only 3 of the teams are actually locked in for the major. Previously, we'll get to the Saturday and it will be completely finished. We're like, oh, okay, we know our 5 teams. Now they're just playing for seeding. There's still 2 more to be decided. And it's not going to be decided with this series either. It's just we might get some tiebreakers out of it. It's a very rocky time to be a European fan.
I was very impressed with Atomic's interview earlier on, he'll be watching this one, wondering whether they will be playing Karmine Corp or Solary in the semi-finals that they've just qualified into. And when he was asked who he'd rather play, I was thinking, surely he's going to say Solary. He wants the chance to make the major. But the man is a performer. He wants a proper match. He wants people watching ringside seats for some fire and brimstone. I can tell that he was sort of rooting for KC to win this one, just so we have as good a semi as possible. So fair play to you, Atomic.
Exotic going central with the pass, and I love the short set comes in there, just save the ball away from Fairy Peak because he was not in a great position. Exotic going high on the back line, pass across to Itachi, and just using each other to the absolute ability that they're able to. Vatira going high with that, Obsta going to go for the bump. Exotic to shoot, top corner, thought was his, and the fake, I think one fake coming out, throws off the defender, and Itachi there to shoot instead, but we're going to need to double check the VAR.
I've just seen Vatira just slap Kate up out the way. I didn't notice it the first time we saw the goal go in. And then Itachi rolls it home. Easiest job as he will ever get there, getting that finish. And on the first game, Stumpy, it's an early lead for Karmine Corp. They're starting to warm up. So they're going to have to do some defending for a little bit, I would imagine.
I mean, they were used to defending in that first game as well, where they were really put to the sword as much as they could be, where there was a single shot, there were about 9-10 shots in the end, and then it just ended up being a single goal that separated the 2 teams. Pass coming in for Exotic to Vatira. Nothing to come from that attempt, however, and the first minute gone with the KC lead forming as well. I was saying earlier about how impressed both of us realistically were with Vatira and how he was performing on this team nowadays. Exotic has been up there for goals per game. We said about Vatira's assists, but the goals are being scored by Exotic. He's currently the 2nd highest in the tournament so far over in Europe, scoring dead on 1 per game. So you're going to want to be keeping up that scoreline as well.
It's always tough to make a name for yourself when you're in a team with Vatira to really be that star player. But Exotic maybe is the one who's going to start just to get himself involved in that conversation with Vatira, who surely is up there for one of the best in the world right now as he clears that ball long. At the end of a little bit of Solary pressure, that's what they have to do, just work the ball forwards. Fairy Peak's got it. He was at the start of our show, in the pre-show, the 3rd best goal of yesterday. It was voted with that flip reset. Will KC's defense give him anywhere near that much space? At the moment, it's Vatira of the space, teeing up Itachi. That one's maybe sneaking into the corner, but there was Fairy Peak with the save, at least for now. Exotic keeps it going. Karmine Corp having way too many clean touches in that Solary half.
There's a few clean touches, and then as soon as they come in, you're seeing Solary have to commit 2 to a save. There, Short Set was beaten. Short Set was not saving that shot. However, Fairy Peak had to stay grounded. They had to cover both sides for it because they know exactly where anybody on KC is going to be capable of shooting. So got a lot to worry about. Have Solary on that defense. Vatira up much more proactive than anybody on Solary. However, this falls back down to KC again to keep going for these shots. K-Dog going long, but with no one there to get it, and then nearly goes in for the pinch attempt as well. Very big, no boost. Going to be panicking in the middle.
I mean,
SureSec comes to swipe in too.
Karmine Corp have some recent history getting some weird pinches and assists on Aquadome in recent times. And the fact they went for that one and got some power on it isn't a surprise at all. Let's see if they can conjure up something brilliant there. No, this time the pass is just behind Exotic. Karmine Corp getting a little bit itchy and too keen to go forward. Have to make sure they don't throw anything away. And I think you can see that Exotic was aware of that with that big, deep rotation back to get the 100 boost and launch this next attack.
There are a huge amount of passes coming in from KC. They're very rarely going for any solo play, and when they do, it then just comes down to them going for a bump or something and still facilitating their teammates. So far, Solary are doing well to cover up those inside lines, going for the backboard, making sure that there's not too much happening that's going to be particularly threatening. So I'm impressed with their defense. And KC, I think they've got a little bit more than they can show on offense. However, 9 seconds left. They're 1-0 up. Do they really? Technically, no.
A few nice little passes though from Solary. They're not afraid to get the ball out of their goal the right way. Look for one of their teammates, really get that transition game working well, and it has allowed them to at least break some pressure from Karmine Corp. Again, very big there. Brilliant play out defense from him. Yep, SureSec, what can he do with it? It's too much, just in the corner. K-Dop's going to come forward. Absolutely loving K-Dop's car design.
Good. I like that.
Nice tick right there, looking fabulous. Tira, bit of a breezy flick, love that. Is anyone going to be on the other end? No, not quite, but starting to warm up KC. Want to have a bit of fun with this one.
I love the echoes of Joyo, getting to the end of a game and just giving that homage to his teammate, going for the musty flick. Good attempts from him, but wasn't able to get towards that net. But the shocking power on it means that it pushed Solary back a little bit further than I think they wanted to, especially in the dying embers of this second game. It's actually with the reset, can send it low, but Fairy Peak removes Vatira, and that is a brilliant demo because it opens up the push for Solary.
But sadly, SureSec just didn't have the extra touch that he needed. So Exotic can get the clearance away, and now Itachi has got so much space to push this ball into. Fairy Peak has closed it down well. There is a brilliant pass. He doesn't get the save at the near post. SureSec's tracking this one and does get the boost deal too. So Vatira's clearance is only as far as Fairy Peak. This is good play from Solary. K-Dop's just a little bit too far away though. Oh, that was the chance he had to gamble. It didn't quite happen for Solary. And once again, Karmine Corp looking like a 1-0 lead is going to be enough, especially as Exotic catches that ball. Maybe it's going to end. One more chance perhaps, Stumpy.
K-Dog going to the skies, trying to do something with it. Can he get that one central? No, instead Exotic takes full control. He's going to be getting that one low. Rolls nicely. Karmine Corp on Aquadome. Going to be going 2-0 up in our series. And yet, again, the sheer game management from them. Very, very few times did we see any opportunity for Solary to score. You know, we had that opportunity towards the end of the game. There was a demo in the middle, but they were just rotating really effectively, making sure that, as you said earlier on, going for the nice deep rotations, making sure that nobody was going to be caught out with a long shot. Right now, Karmine Corp, they score one, then they don't need to push for that second.
I think that Shogun's watching this one, and he's just starting to let himself dare to dream, thinking maybe this is the 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, whisper it. 1-0.
1-0. Oh,
game. No, that's the whisper. That's the shout, mate. You always get those confused. That's why you're so loud and annoying. Yeah, but it has been a couple of 1-0 games in a row.
I think it's brave to call it, Cole, already, saying that it's going to be... You've invoked the gods. You invoked the gods, and the gods are angry. The gods are angry.
So this is going to be a 7-goal banger, is it?
No, it's going to be a 1-0 until like 3 seconds left. No. And then Vatira is going to get like just a completely pointless second goal. Like, it's going to be a frustrator. Yeah.
No one wants that at all. Well, let's see what happens. All we can do is talk about what happens on this pitch. We can't lie and say that the next two games will be 1-0, even if they're not. And Solary, they were getting closer to a goal in all seriousness at the end of that last game.
Yeah, but I typically see, though, whenever a team gets that close, it's a little bit too little, too late, especially when you get one chance. Like Bearman was saying, in a 5-minute period, they had one chance to get a goal, and I'm still not really that convinced. It becomes a bit worrying. They had 4 shots in total in 5 minutes. Less than 1 shot per minute is quite bad, and they're yet to score in the series as well. A good bump from Vatira, though. Removed one defender from the equation, but Fairy Peak's able to save it away. A long shot coming in. K-Dop, though, sends it a smidge too wide, and so Vatira reversing back with 100 boost. He leaves that ball, and Shorset takes full advantage.
How does Vatira even manage to make dodging opponents' bumps look spectacular the way he did that one? But Fairypeak's coming forward, K-Dop's coming in. Fairypeak just couldn't quite force the angle. And again, Solary looking good until one extra touch. Shorset did not want his teammate to get a hit on that ball. This could be the 1-0. K-Dop keeps it above his goal line well and stays behind the ball. You said so near yet so far, and that is the story so far for Solary.
That was great composure from K-Dop as well on that play. He was on the backboard, got control of it, kept it close, didn't panic and send it into the corner, allowing for the KC push to continue. No, he holds it close, holds it to his chest and manages to clear it away. And now Solary, whilst they were pushed back a little bit, all of them have a decent enough amount of boost to withstand the gale force wind that we're seeing come out from KC. Itachi going full ball towards that ball. Here, can he get over the top of one? He does. Itachi onto the backboard, but intercepted by Shorset, and now Fairypeak on the attack.
Lovely little touch that was from Vatira earlier on, but Solary again, these counter-attacks starting to look a little bit dangerous. Exotic has got 5 boosts. They can't do too much. Well, actually, he could get it around the corner. The K-Dop and his team were up there, standing strong. Lovely weight there from Vatira, though. KC just looking so comfortable when they are on attack, not rushing anything, still deep rotations, giving Solary anything simple from the other side. And that's what Solary are hoping for. Maybe a flip reset will open up KC. Not quite this time. Fairypeak now. It's just attack after attack from Solary without really having that killer instinct.
Attack after attack, and both teams have 2 shots each. Like, no one's had many convincing chances until Exotic takes the 3rd one and sends it in. He continues on his path of the goal participation, and Vatira continues on that assist train.
Most of us who like keeping an eye out for stats will be hoping there's no more goals in the next 2.5 minutes, because KC do now have their 1-goal lead. It's a slender one, but it has been enough in the first couple of games.
The kickoff rather going in favour of KC on that one. The K-Dop going in favour of KC is not something you want to hear. And Vatira ruins it, but not at the time I said. I said it would be him, and in fairness, that's a decent goal. Shorset can't get in front of it. He just smacks it with that Fennec. As Johnny would probably describe it, sheer bot behaviour.
That was just power to get past all 3 Solary players. And now they're a couple of goals behind. Let's see if they really bring themselves out onto that blue half. See what Solary look like in attack, and if KC can punish them if they do so. KC maybe will fancy getting a few goals under their belt in this series now. It's the time they could do it. Actually, they've pushed and it's backfired.
And earlier on in the series, KC were doing such a great job of keeping that last man out of back rather, make sure these trickle goals didn't come in. But Itachi was not able to return in time, and instead the purple Phoenix rises as K-Dop gets the first goal for Solary, which must be a little bit of weight off their shoulders.
Yeah, always nice not to get perfect sweats when you're in a best of 7. Should have gone for the doinky front flip for some reason. Why will pro players never realise you don't need to flip? You can just jump. It looks better. Okay, and you get more power on the ball. It probably skids off your car's roof. But whatever, we'll forgive Shorset. He's achieved some things.
I don't. Itachi for one long shot, instead intercepted by K-Dop. Shorset in a great position, attempts to go, I think, for a close touch, but instead just sends the ball away. A few errant mistakes I'm finding right now coming in for Solary throughout realistically this entire series so far. Good attempts, however, as K-Dop again, composure on the back wall, but sends it a little bit too far that time. Vatira trying to bump one, leads it low. Body check, Shorset out the way.
Earlier on, I said that Vatira manages to make dodging a bump or a demo look spectacular, and now he just makes driving on the wall look brilliant. Look at him. Just skidding alongside. You know that NASCAR clip that went viral? That was pretty much the Rocket League equivalent.
I know Wavepunk, there's no clip that could go viral in NASCAR without him screaming about it in a very strong Texan accent.
A lot.
Yeah, it was wild. Vatira! The wildness continues on the kickoff, straight to the ceiling. Goes up for one, reset, straight back down. That man is on fire. The defense is terrifying.
From nowhere as well there, Vatira, and suddenly they're 4 goals up. It seemed that the goal that Solary scored just frustrated Karmine Corp, and now they really want to open up and just show their wrath against Solary. We'll have to do some defending again, but there's a lovely pass there towards Shorset. This game really has opened up. Be a 7-goal thriller at this rate. Well, hopefully not as far as Solary are concerned, because 7 goals would mean they lose it 4-3. They might even lose it more than that. With Itachi coming forward, so that's a good block, a good bump, a good demo, a nice shot from Exotic. 5-1. We've seen some lovely goals all of a sudden.
A lovely dip into the bottom corner as well. Vatira, I love moving away from that ball, realizes it doesn't make sense for him to go for it. And Exotic instead comes in with the full forward momentum, nothing awkward about it. Again, full bot behavior, hit it hard at the orange net. He said before this game, Cole, we're going to get an annoying 7-goal thriller. That is so weirdly very on the cards.
Let's see. We need one more goal on the next 50. This could be it, Shosek. Go on, son. Barge your way through. Not quite. They'll keep trying, Solary. They'll keep peppering away at that Karmine Corp goal. The Karmine Corp aren't bad defenders themselves. We have to remember that as well, Stumpy, that this is the team that have won regionals based on the quality of their defense in the last finals as well.
Final 30 seconds ticks down, and Solary have to throw everything at this lest they go 3-0 down in this series. However, yes, that's going to happen. They're 5-1 up. Like, come on, like, it's going to happen, guys. Sorry, Solary fans. But do they fight back? Like how we saw Oxygen give the attempt to for G1 earlier. They went up 3-0. Oxygen brought it back to 2 games, rather. And then eventually G1 manages to win that one away. The final 5 seconds, do we get that 7-goal thriller from short set to Fairy Peak onto the backboard? Who else but Vatira to save it away until K-Dog finds his way in another attempt with Itachi going along with it. Nobody's back. The 7-goal thriller is missed. Itachi isn't able to make Cole's dreams come true.
No 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, 1-0. No 7-goal thriller in game 3. These guys just don't want us to have any fun. But what they do want is a tactical timeout to talk through some things.
Solary taking that one, understandably. I'm going to say this every time. I'm a fan of doing it after 2, after 3. You're staring down the barrel of a best-of-7 reverse sweep. It seems hard to realistically do that back, no matter how well your coach is going to be talking to you. But if you do it after 2, if you burned it too early, realistically, also they were 1-0. Is it actually that close? Does that basically count as winning by an overtime? You know, there's a lot that goes into these decisions.
I feel like instead of doing any analysis, you just had a crisis. You just asked so many questions. You're like, but is it close? Is it a close series? Is it a smashing? Like,
I looked in the mirror
even real?
And said all of that as well, and I gave myself an existential crisis. It was intense.
If K-Dop isn't real, how can our eyes be real? Or whatever. That was the...
So old that you referenced that tweet. Do you know? Let's just take a step back from the game real quick. Do you know how old that makes you be?
I think I was 29, my age. Now I'm like 31. I've gained 2 years.
You've gained
it's not a massive one,
years.
but when you're my age, that's a lot.
It doesn't look good on you either. Your hair's falling out.
Well, you know, that's all.
And then you aged 2 years.
Yeah, good one. That's all the stress from series like this one, mate. Can Solary begin the comeback in what has been a smashing / very close series? I do not know. I can't even sleep at night.
I'm sorry for that. I'll carry on with the analysis, though, if that's okay with you. With Solary, we were saying going into this series, it's going to be hard. They know that it's going to be hard. They're coming up against literally the best team in Europe right now, with what many people consider to be the best player in the world in Vatira. What is... Just how do you approach... I'm not even. It's not even an actual question. It's just a rhetorical of... How do you approach that?
Can I answer?
If you know how to approach that, and you give the answer in French, then yeah, go for it. Don't do it. It's not worth it.
I was just going to say get weird with it, but with le at the start. That was my lazy impression.
Get weird with it.
Yeah, exactly. Just like go for some weird bumps, go for some strange rotations, try and surprise
unpredictable.
Because I think, in all seriousness, Solary aren't doing anything that's surprising Karmine Corp at all, and that is how they are defending so easily against them. There's been 1 goal conceded in 3 games. Even if you get smashed, try and up that ante just a little bit. You can go for goals against this squad, but you might have to take an extra risk.
My worry is that now that we've seen KC get one of the runaway goals against them, that then now shuts down that entire alleyway that otherwise would have been available for them for Solary potentially on this game 4. I'm worried that that's just been learned, and now they're not going to have that opportunity. But instead, the aggression is straight back again. We're seeing a lot of proactive play.
We've also had a couple of K-Dot misses, and then one of those sort of passes that's not a pass, where you fake out to go for an air dribble, then your teammate steams in. So it does seem that Solary are trying to mix up their approach just a little bit more, but Karmine Corp can always score against you when you try and do anything even vaguely brave. Look how much faster Solary are closing them down, though. Can Karmine Corp be given a headache by this new and improved Solary?
And a lot of pressure as well from KC as we enter onto this beautiful map as Vatira catches so nicely, so gently. The long shot, this time saved away by Exotic into the corner. Itachi lurks, waits, catches, gets challenged by Fairy Pig. Earlier on, I think he has a lot more space to deal with that. KC need to deal with a much more aggressive Solary. Kato in the brilliant position to shoot that one too. Picks up the corner 100, and suddenly we're seeing KC scramble.
And they're getting some boost deals as well as Solary. This is really good stuff from them. This is what we want to see. K-Dot with a lovely little touch forward. Very peak around the corner with no boost. Manages to get something on it. Almost got the flip reset, but does get a huge dunk on the floor. Shortset's coming in and almost scoring. Solary has stepped up.
The pressure continuing as one miss comes in Exotic, leaving that ball for Vatira. The pinch, however, just reminding Solary, you can't keep this up forever, lads. I've done 2 pinches in this game alone. One of them may well find its way in, and you're going to be on the receiving end of a top 3 goals tomorrow.
So close there from Fairy Peak again. Itachi called in to defend. Exotic was waiting back, and he just slows things down. He's done that a couple of times with Exotic. Right when Solary are building up ahead of steam, he has been the player who's been in charge with slowing it down, and that's not really Exotic's job, so credit to him for doing it when it's necessary.
Challenge from Vatira goes a rise. It falls back down towards K-Dot. That slightly accidental pass to Shortset, I think. He just ran out of boost, and so any touch was falling low to his teammate. Challenging the corner, Exotic pinching it long. Itachi trying to go for that double on the corner again, but K-Dot, fair play. You said he had a couple of misses, but I have been very impressed with him in this game individually. However, my God, he is using about 1,000 boosts a second.
He's really going for it. He's trying to keep up the old boy.
He's trying to take down his RB. It's absurd.
Fair play to him. He's nipping about that pitch. Just wants to get the ball cleanly. Fairy Peak and K-Dot both charge in. K-Dot is the bulldozer for Solary, it would seem. He's on bull chase duty. Vatira goes from the side. Shortset just sends it out wide. KC are going to slow things down again with Itachi. It definitely seems like Karmine Corp want this ball slowed down. Solary wants it played as fast as possible to cause maybe a little bit of chaos. Look at K-Dot go. He's chasing down Itachi now. Love it.
Going for those demos, trying to make sure that nobody on KC is able to sit still for particularly long whatsoever. They're going to have to continue rushing for these bits of boost. Shortset wave dashing onto the side wall. Vatira to shoot. Oh, sorry, Itachi to shoot rather, and Vatira to come in for the second chance. Doink to central. Itachi is there to receive. Vatira is there to shoot again. Fairy Peak, the defense has been so strong for Solary in this 4th match.
K-Dot can just get a decent challenge against Exotic. Shortset's coming in against Vatira now. Fairy Peak, maybe the chance to shoot. Get the crossbar. So close to Solary taking the lead for the first time. But they've run out of boost in KC. They can begin to lob a grenade over the top of Utopia towards that orange goal. Exotic in the corner. He's got past one player. Shortset then comes in. Solary still finding each other well. They've had that this entire series. Fairy Peak to the crossbar, but Itachi gets in the way.
Where has this Solary been? Why is this only occurring on the 4th map? This has been an amazing push from them. They've held KC back until the final minute, and it has been so strong for them until a final chance comes in. KC dropping it low. The defense broken down in the end. 5 saves came through for Solary. And finally, the drop down as Itachi is able to go bottom left yet again. The lead forming. Solary, don't you dare turtle up. Continue to throw 1,000 kitchen sinks at 1,000 faces of KC.
Hopefully Solary on the way to the kitchen sink shop, and they're not out of kitchen sinks to throw.
Brilliant. Thanks for extending my metaphor. That was, huge.
I'm happy I extended your metaphor. Exotic, is he going to kill it here? Oh, he is. We try to have some fun, but KC having none of it. They're very good at Rocket League. I'm just talking about Exotic. Look at this finish, mate. Can you tell us about that?
I want to tell you about the pass, because going from the corner, just get that amount of power directly central, and then the idea from Exotic, just wait in the middle. The push from KC, in the end, may well just be enough to shut down Solary in 4 individual games. We will probably not be seeing that oxygen push that they had versus G1 earlier. Instead, Europe's #1 seed continues to do Europe's #1 seed things and just continues to duck.
I feel like Rotterdam is going to be a little bit the storyline is going to be between Karmine Corp with all their hundreds of millions of fans and Gen G, a team who are making all these fans over in North America. They are the two who've really stood above in each of the 2, dare I say, main regions in EU and NA. I know that's a contentious thing anyway. Solary get their 2nd goal of the series. It's deserved. And actually, there are 6 more seconds.
Don't.
Which means, 6 seconds for a goal is doable.
No one's ever scored 1 goal in 6 seconds.
Okay, well,
Not even Crown and Jewels. Back in the day, scored 1 goal in 6 seconds. It's not going to happen.
Oh, here we go. We've got 4 seconds now. The time's dripping away. Shawset needs to do something with this ball. Instead, he leaves it completely. Exotic up against Fairy Peak. In the corner it goes. Vatira, how are your ball-killing skills? Not so good. Itachi versus Kadup, but still up. Shawset's there. He's got to play it to his right. Kadup is still running interference. But Fairy Peak can't quite chase that one down. The GGs fly out. And it is Karmine Corp that take it, as expected, in 4.
I tried to do my best Asphira impression. Just trying to jinx it. Yeah, I gave it a go. Unfortunately, I'm just too good at my job. Karmine Corp, the 4-0. A lot of people were thinking it was going to be. And Solary, I'm going to be completely honest, I was only impressed with them in that final match. The first 2, they were pitted back against the wall. They was fully in the way of Karmine Corp. Game 3, unspeakably, obviously, it was a 5-2 in the end or something, a 5-1, and it was clearly a Karmine Corp victory, and with every single bit of control they wanted to push for. But that final game, that's where that glimmer came through, but just far too late. Solary have got a lot to build on, because that is going to be them done for this spring split. They will not be attending the major over in Rotterdam.
But it's a split that when they teamed up, people were saying, oh, this is a great team, ... in 2018, blah, blah, blah. Solary have proven that they are still a very viable team at this level. They can make it into that top 8. They are sort of maybe gatekeepers of the top 8 at this stage in their career, and there's no shame in that at all. I think they've put in a performance there against Karmine Corp, against the best in EU, against potentially the best in the world, that has no shame attached to it. There'll be bigger thrashings by Karmine Corp against good teams that you'll see this season.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's also why I feel so frustrated, because I want Solary to do well. I absolutely believe as well that they can do well. Me and Shogun were saying they are a very dark horse to get through into that 5th seed and to hover somewhere around 5 and 6 to get to the major. They just couldn't do it this time. Solary, though, as I said, will not be going through to the major. Karmine Corp going through as your number 1 seed. But there's a lot more scenarios. There's a lot more teams that are still waiting to find out if they're going to the major. Let's go back to the desk.
Yeah, things don't get less complicated from here. And we only have 4 teams left in this tournament, and it's still complicated. We'll touch on that in a few seconds here. First, let's get our own thoughts out on the match that we saw. Karmine Corp, Solary. Obviously, we go into that. Almost everyone, and I'm sure even Solary probably knew that Karmine Corp would come out victorious on the other half of that, or on the other side of that. But for Solary, looking at them, Shogun, how do we feel about this team in the region right now? Because, they made a top 8, but then they got dominated by K-Corp.
I feel like this was the expected outcome, and sort of the way that it happened was also somewhat expected. For Solary, they are a good team, and no one can take that away from them, but Karmine Corp are a great team, and this is what great teams do to teams of this level. They put it very well over on the cast. There are going to be worse results happening against maybe even better teams than Solary against KC this split. They are just that team in Europe, and that is a really tough position to put yourself in, because it's very few that get to be like the default pick over in a region that is this chaotic, and KC have now become exactly that.
Yeah, I think you've got to give a nod to Solary for keeping it close in games 1 and 2. But for them to be successful in this series, they had to get one of those 2 games, because for Karmine Corp, there's just a team that can start off a little slower, but once they get going, man, they are impossible to stop. And you get a look at the semifinals for tomorrow. It's going to be a spicy day, Leaf.
Yeah, it is. I'm going to let you get prepped for a second here. So I'm going to make Shogun talk for like 15 more seconds while you prepare yourself, because I'm going. You're my Gibbs right now. So Shogun, looking at this.
I'm not. I was right today. I'm not Gibbs.
Oh, that's fair. Shogun, look at this bracket though. I mean, I feel like if you just looked at the European region, looked at this, you'd be like, whoa, wait, these aren't the teams I would have, the orgs I would have expected to see here right now. And I guess that talks to the depth of this region.
You know what? I feel like if you showed this to me at the beginning of the tournament, I'd absolutely agree with it. I think the only time I would have completely disagreed with the bracket you showed me here is if KC were not top 4. That's the only thing that probably would have thrown me completely off. Everything else, yeah, you can easily see happening, because, again, going back to what I was talking about from KC, they are the only team right now who feel like they are immune to the rest of the European chaos. Everyone else can get swept up in that vortex. But KC can't. They are a step above right now, and they've proven it. I mean, another semifinals, might even go into another finals. I mean, they are just so consistent.
Okay, Subi, have I given you enough time?
No, but let's just do it anyway.
Let's roll with the points. Let's take a look. What's going on tomorrow? Because it's still crazy.
Okay, so cue that image of Charlie Day with his hands on his heads and strings going everywhere trying to figure out where the crime's happening, because this is exactly what's going on in Europe. As you know, Karmine Corp, Oxygen, Quadrant, all locked in for the fall major, so congrats to them. But there's so much on the line tomorrow. G1, Liquid, and EG all control their own fate, with Moist sitting on the sidelines. But as you know, the worst that they can do is get into that tiebreaker, obviously. So if G1 lose to Karmine tomorrow, then Moist clinches the major, and then the winner of Team Liquid and Evil Geniuses clinches. If G1 beat Karmine, the winner of G1 versus Liquid Evil Geniuses in the final clinches the major. Then, if G1 lose in that final, they tie Moist and force a tiebreaker. So like I said, it's confusing. There's a lot out there. So I think the easiest way for you to understand the picture, just tune in tomorrow and figure out who wins. Yeah. Easy.
I think that's the best bet, is talk about the matches as they happen, right? And to get you ready, let's look at the schedule. Let's show you what order these matches are coming. There's only 3 that'll end up happening, right? We start off with, never mind, we don't have, just look at the bracket online. Just go on Wikipedia. It's really easy. We got Evil Geniuses versus Team Liquid, Karmine Corp versus G1. Show up to the match. We'll tell you. We do got it. Okay, I lied. I'm just double bluffing all over the place here. So we're going to start off with Liquid EG, and then move on to K-Corp G1. Again, a lot riding on every single one of these teams. Just like K-Corp, they can just do whatever they want, really, at this point. But they're still going to try to probably play for that $30,000 first place prize. Why not? Continue to assert your dominance. But tune in. We'll explain everything before the match happens on each one of us. Do you have it show in your head, Jogan, or are you just tuning in tomorrow to find out?
Look, I've got a lot going on right now. I've got to figure out all of these. I got to figure out somehow how to get one prediction better than at least Cole tomorrow. It's going to be amazing. But the good news is that we will have all of this locked down, and it's pretty simple. Don't lose at the moment. If you are these teams, just keep winning and you will find your way there. But there's also a huge part of me that's sort of like pulling, come on, tiebreaker, give me a tiebreaker. It would just be so hype. But hey, I guess we'll find out.
I do believe if we get tiebreakers, we'll do it like we did before and right after the broadcast. So if you want more Rocket League, hope for tiebreakers, because you're going to get it there. Let's throw the final thoughts out there. That was pretty much yours there, Shogun. But if you got anything else to add, and then Subi to follow.
I'm predicting Subi's words after trying to get through all of that is just going to be like, he's fried out now at this point. All of the brain has been used.
Yeah, after today.
That's at least one extra prediction point for me, baby. We're in it.
No, I mean, today was a great day. It was fun being on Europe, as always, getting to join all of you guys, you non-Americans. It's always fun. But it's cool to see Solary back in playoffs. Fortunately, it didn't work out for them. Karmine Corp continues their monstrous run through Europe. It's very fun to see Vatira turning into the greatest player in the world right before our eyes. And I'm excited for tomorrow. It's going to be a day where there's 4 solid teams that legitimately any one of those 4 can take the crown.
Well, as he said, tomorrow we crown a champion. Obviously, KC goes into it looking like the potential favorites, but you don't want to miss a lot of scenarios on the line. Major spots still open for Rotterdam here in the European region as we figure out who's going to win tomorrow. Tune in at 11 a.m. for a kickoff. And if you want to join for a little extra fun, Shogi over here has got a little pre-show for you at 10:30 Eastern time. So make sure to show up for that. Join them, have fun in the chat with everybody on the show. But for now, that's the end of day 2. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.